Hey, what's up, everyone? We are starting live. Waiting for the other fellas to show up in a bit, but yeah, I know usually we do this show every 2 weeks, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to switch up the lineup a little bit today, and yeah, just kind of go from there, all that good stuff. And yeah, I hope everyone's having a good night tonight. Tuesday, almost February, which is just nuts to me, but yeah, let's get this party started. I'll just wait for the guys to come through, but not a ton of stuff today. I don't have a huge market report. I wanted to try something a little new with either the guys in the chat in general, but specifically Dak when he gets on here. I'm not sure when he's showing up, but he said he would be here 6:30 Pacific time. Again, I hope everyone's having a good day so far. No one's in the chat yet, but we will wait. Here, let me do that little live. Yeah, some crazy ongoings as far as like video games were concerned, and I want to say some like major media stuff with layoffs and Activision. What's up, Brian? Good to see you in the chat. What's up, Brian? Good to see you, dog. Yeah, just I know there was a lot of corporate news, like with the Activision kind of merger being done with Microsoft. There's some news I think that's important for us collectors as well, for like video games, the physical media of it. And the guys on the panel today are definitely going to help me out with that. I hope. They probably will. Sorry, just looking at some Instagram stuff, but yeah. And then we're also going to look at, I don't have any vinyl stuff lately. It's just not really my forte, but hopefully we get some vinyl stuff eventually one of these days. And then we're also going to be looking at the magazine market and the whole Sports Illustrated situation. I picked up a few things over the weekend. And then a little bit of comic book stuff. I had some ideas from Dak specifically. And yeah, a little bit of Pokemon today as well. And hold on. I need to give Dak the link. I thought I sent it to him earlier, but my fault. Okay, here he is. So yeah, I guess Vinny is at the Grammys today. What's up, Shiny Ricardo Garcia? Good to see you in the chat, man. You guys give Shiny Ricardo Garcia a follow. He's starting up his he's getting his channel up and running there. But yeah, Vinny's not going to be here tonight. He's at the Grammys doing his Grammy thing. Marcus though should be joining us fairly shortly, I hope. And then Dak, who joined the show, I want to say a month ago or so. He's been a great addition to, I think, our Ronin 5 podcast. So I really do appreciate him coming through. He will be joining us today. Let me just send a little message out to the fellas. Marcus, be live. I emailed you the link earlier. Okay, cool. And yeah, all right. Well, without further ado, I guess we should get the show started here, and then I'll kind of wait for the guys to come through. Man, I'm doing pretty good. Ricardo, thanks for asking. It's been work's been kind of crazy, but yeah, it's been it's okay. You know, you do what you got to do. It's so early in the year, people really aren't looking for homes or mortgages and whatnot. So I guess we'll just kind of see. But yeah, starting off with the show, we're starting off pretty light today. Pretty quick show tonight. I don't have a ton today, like I said, but let's get into it anyway. So Pokemon, I hear that I'm at work. Oh, good. Don't work too hard, my friend. Yeah, mortgages aren't too crazy right now, but yeah, just working with a few clients trying to get them homes, and we'll see that happens. So, you know, obviously with the market, with the Super Bowl, San Francisco versus the good old Kansas City Chiefs, I was kind of thinking, you know, last year when Brock Purdy got hurt, and he had that season-ending injury, yeah, the economy is crazy, my friend. It's still worth it to buy a house, in my opinion. But what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up?
How's the weather over where you're at, dude?
It's cold.
Yeah. Yeah, it's warmed up. It was like 19 degrees like last couple weeks, and now it's 60 in Seattle, which, man, it's unheard of, man. It's really weird, but yeah. So
Ferg,
how was your week? How you
yeah,
been?
Ferg, where are you at again?
I'm in Seattle.
You're Seattle. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's sorry, there was getting I was getting interruption with a separate voice over. But yeah, I'm in Chicago, as you know.
Yeah.
It's cold here. It's cold, but we haven't gotten as much precipitation as we do in other years.
Okay.
It's been brutally cold, but not too much snow.
Hmm.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Sure.
It continues this way, but so far so good. Is it raining? Do you get snow in Seattle? Not really, right?
We we do get it like every once in a while, but it's not like a consistent annual thing.
Okay.
Um, when we get like when it snows and it sticks,
Mhm.
it's like the city shuts down. Like because
Yeah.
for one, Seattle, I don't know if you know, like Skid Row, like that literally is a term that comes from Seattle. Um,
Okay.
because they would cut down the timber and
Mhm.
then they would like essentially skid it down the hill and
Mhm.
make these like huge mudslides. Um, and yeah, so that term comes from Seattle. Anyway, Seattle is like basically like huge hills all over the place.
Mm.
So but yeah, when it snows, like the whole city shuts down. We don't know how to
Yeah.
handle it. People snowboard on the hills because it's like it's actually really good. It's funny. When I used to live downtown, I would take video of people like on skis and like on their
Mhm.
snowboards, and like, dude, there's some pretty good stuff, man. It's freaking hilarious. But yeah, we love it. It's not like I don't think Seattleites hate the snow. It's
Mhm.
just we don't. We'd rather just like everyone works from home anyway, so it's just
Right.
easier that way. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember call in Atlanta when I lived in Atlanta, like we had like a ice storm
Hmm.
and the entire city was shut down. Like it wasn't even I mean, I was born and raised in Canada, so
Oh, okay.
we we're used to the snow
Yeah.
and terrible weather every year. But it was pretty humorous to see just like not even like half an inch of snow on the ground, not even, and the whole city shut down. It was pretty hilarious, but that's what it is. I mean, if you get snow in Georgia, that's a pretty big event,
Yeah. No, I
right?
I
So,
I bet. Yeah, it's funny you say I didn't know I know you're Canadian. I'm actually going to Vancouver this weekend.
oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um
Vancouver's
and
beautiful. I mean, Seattle's not too far from Vancouver.
yeah.
What's the plane flight? What's the plane travel time? Is it like 2 hours?
Oh yeah, you just drive up.
Oh, you're driving. Okay.
Yeah, you
Okay.
drive up. It's like
Yeah.
a 2-hour drive.
It's a 2 hour drive. Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's pretty easy.
it's pretty easy. The only tough thing is that the border it can take a long time.
Oh, is it really packed at the border?
Yeah, and it's like give or take, like the influx of people that have moved over to Seattle. It's like, oh, I can go to I can go to Canada,
Right.
and like honestly, I think Vancouver is a mm, uh uh more entertaining city than Seattle is. Honestly,
Mm,
um, I just feel like it's just bigger and there's more to do there, and
mm,
like the people are just so nice, and
mhm,
yeah, I have a lot of like family up there
mhm.
that were in Vancouver. But yeah, we'll be there just for the weekend. And the one thing that we always get when we're there is ketchup chips.
Yeah.
And man, I stock up on like 10 bags of those motherfuckers and
What
then
about
come
do
back.
you guys ever try coffee crisp?
No, what's
That's
that?
another Canadian staple.
I didn't know that.
Coffee crisp. It's a chocolate bar that tastes like coffee.
Okay, I'll have
Yeah.
to. I, I didn't. I've been going since I was a kid, and my cousin took me out to like a 7-Eleven, and
Yeah.
he was like, "Try this Jamaican pie or the meat
Oh,
pies or
yeah, you're
whatever."
making beef patties, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
never
What'd
had
you
one
think?
before, dude. I was like in heaven.
What'd you think? Yeah, you liked it?
Dude, yeah. Oh hell yeah. It sucked because like we just got done eating like hot pot, and
Yeah.
so I wasn't able to um really dive down on the Jamaican pies, but they were good, dude. It was
Yeah, I
bomb. Yeah.
mean, in Toronto, I don't know if you've been to Toronto, but
No.
a very diverse city, very
Sure.
diverse, and we have cultural influences from all over the world. Like I grew up with Jamaican patties and obviously all kinds of different cuisines growing up in Toronto.
Hmm.
If anyone has a chance to go up there, definitely, I think it's worthwhile to go up. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful world class city.
Yeah.
Um, it's big like Chicago. It's
Hmm.
huge skyscrapers, beautiful harbor front. It's very similar to Chicago. As a matter of fact, we have a lake
Mm.
side.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of a beach, just like Chicago does, and a harbor front, what we call it. And it's a very nice town. Nice, I wouldn't call it town. Very nice city.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. As a matter of fact, I'm ashamed. I've never been to Vancouver.
I
So
mean, I feel the same way. Like I've been to New York and New Jersey, and I know it's not
okay,
that close, but um, you know, I've never been to Toronto before, and I've always
okay,
wanted to.
yeah,
I've seen good. I've heard good stuff about it too. And Quebec, or Montreal, like I've
yeah,
always wanted to
yeah.
go there too.
Montreal, Quebec are
Yeah,
beautiful cities too. Yeah, it's
yeah,
not too. I mean, people think it's very far away. I drive to Toronto from Chicago.
yeah.
It's an 8 hour drive, but I get up
Hmm.
early in the morning and I make the drive. If it's good weather, otherwise I'll fly. But
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's not a bad ride to Toronto if you're willing to go 8 hours.
Yeah, I need to do more. I need to do like more domestic kind of traveling. I've been doing a lot of international. I
Okay.
mean, that's like a humble brag, right? It's really not. But like, I haven't really gone to like I've never been to Chicago, and like that's the one big city I
Oh, you've never been to Chicago?
never have.
You must come.
I know the
Anything
Filipino
pizza.
population is pretty big in Chicago, I
Yeah,
hear too. So
yeah,
I mean, I feel right at home. I
yeah.
mean, I'm not worried about that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just um I had relatives that lived there, but then they moved to California.
Okay.
There's a I don't know if Comics and Tortillas is from San Diego, but there's hell of Filipinos in San Diego. And it's a good time
Yeah,
there too.
yeah.
Paul in the 619, he's on the chat, right? I don't know if he's in the chat, but he's from San Diego too. But yeah, good stuff, man. Yeah, I want to try something different with you, particularly today.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you. Well, I'll. It's going to be near the end of the show. I didn't have a like this or that segment, but I
Mhm.
wanted you. We were kind of going back and forth about some stuff, and I was like, oh, I wonder if Dak would. I need some Dak advice. So I got a little segment for you, and Marcus
Okay.
obviously can participate too. But
Hey,
you're
my
kind of the
TV's
inspiration
going. Let
for
me
it.
turn it off.
Oh, okay. I can't even see it, or
All right,
barely.
there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, he's from
cool.
OC. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll be in Oceanside later this month. So I'm pretty excited about that. Um, yeah, Jack, not too much today, so I won't take up too much of your time, but we're about 13 minutes in. Just want to thank we've had a lot of support lately in the past like week or so. We had a pretty awesome show on Saturday. I got some pretty good feedback on it. Kind of like the state of comic books and kind of went over some stats and whatnot. And I think we had a really good discussion about it. It was actually our most watched show since I started this thing
Mhm.
live. So that was pretty exciting. And
I
then,
think I came in on the tail end of it. I remember
yeah,
it was a very cool show at the
thank
end,
you.
at least as much as I caught
Y-
at the end.
Yeah. It was kind of cool to see like the numbers from like, assumptions and like reality and all that.
Mhm.
Obviously not all the questions couldn't be answered, but I think, yeah, we got kind of different questions from like Southpaw Brad answered from like his point of view, like my point of view being kind of that Gen X, millennial kind of in between, and then our female guest Cassie, who may show up on future shows, and of course Fedora, and just the overconsumption and like the future of like our hobbies that we go into. And I think it'll pertain today as well. But yeah, I was just kind of going into like this here. So yeah, so Brock Purdy, I remember last year got injured. And I was like, man, it's really too bad. He lost the NFC championship. All the haters are going to come out. And I swear his card was like $299, this Prism card I'm looking at right
Mhm.
here. And I was like, well, you're going into an off season, there was questions whether or not he was going to come back for 2024 and at all. No, it's all good. 78. Good to see you, man. We miss you. Um, and I was like, nah, it's too risky. Like sports cards like freak me out like a
Mhm.
lot lately,
Yeah.
Um, and I just wasn't sure. It just wasn't a sure enough bet for me, especially in this economy.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wrong, and I'm okay with taking an L. But if you did take the opportunity to buy at $2.99, this $1.99 is when I saw that. This Brock Purdy Raw is selling for $3.99 to $500 on eBay again. Were you able to get on the Brock Purdy bandwagon, if you will, or express, whatever you want to call it?
I was not. For me, sports cards has always been, as you said, I get nervous with sports cards.
Yeah.
And I never know which sport card. Maybe I'm a newbie. I don't know which sport card to ever get. I understand that there's so many nuances to sports cards. You're getting into the different color refractors or the different color prisms, and you're looking at the ratios. But we just saw Vinny and several others were commenting on one person that bought so many packs to get a Wemby rookie and just struck out. That was $600 or more or something. It was on the Discord chat. I was like, that's crazy. Like,
I know.
It's basically the lottery, right?
Scratch tickets or pull tabs.
Yeah. And also, why do that when you can just buy the rookie card on eBay for $60 now? I remember a couple of weeks ago it was selling for, I believe, 40 to 35 to $45. Now it's gone up to like $60 to $70 for the base rookie prism.
Yeah.
That's what you're really trying to get. You're not going to find the lower ratio ones. They're so hard to get. So the people who break, is that the term, break, for these cards? Yeah, they're investing a lot of money. Investing a lot of money into getting these cards. Now, going back to the Brock Purdy, I wish I had, bro. I wish I had. I wish I. It's always good on the off season.
Yeah.
To load up, because that's when the cards are ignored. So right now is the worst time to buy any rookie card. Like, for example, a hot rookie card. Just wait a couple months after the season's over. You'll see by like March, April of this year, you'll see possibly that the price of his card goes down. Now, if he goes on to win the Super Bowl, I don't know what's going to happen with his card. But what's the price on the Brock Purdy right now? 500 to 600 or 400?
I was seeing asking. I didn't look up sold. I just was like, I just remember like I could have got one for 200, and people were asking $3.99 to $4.99. And you're absolutely correct, man. Like, this is the worst time to buy football. I would say, like, if you want to time it like based off people's memory, I always look at football players during the draft, like veterans, like second year sophomore guys, because I'm privy to it, man. Like, I don't like once you finish your season and the draft comes up, you're a vet. You might as well be a 5-year vet in my eyes. And that allure of rookies, because they're talked about for the next 4 months after the Super Bowl. There's going to be 15 different, mock drafts, and it's fun.
Caleb Williams is going to be the big guy. There's several others. I'm in Chicago. You know what's going on here with with Justin Fields and the whole fiasco surrounding whether they're going to trade him or keep him. I can go on to a huge diatribe about Justin Fields and what I believe they should do, but I'm not going to.
It's all good.
I do like Justin Fields. I think he's an amazing quarterback. Staying within the scope of this, I think getting his rookie card is a good gamble right now.
Cool, I like that.
And I also think that there's several other key great rookie cards to get, but I see the Wemby card up there as well. I don't have a Wemby rookie yet. Did you get one of these? Right?
No. So, Vinny was texting me. He actually called me and asked if I had any of these Prism boxes or if I knew of anywhere. Because, I'll go to Barnes & Noble and, we do favors for each other and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
And I was like, man, I'm just not, I'm not sold on Wemby as
Oh.
the next generational player.
Mhm.
So my kind of like interest in him is very, very small.
Mhm.
Not, and that's not to say like maybe I've been a little bit jaded because of the recent price hikes, and just I don't get it, and like it's just not very entertaining to me as a watcher of the sport.
Mhm.
um and that's just the product that I like, but so I haven't really paid attention to him. I'm not going to go out and get his rookie either, I think, just because kind of what you alluded to. One, I just think it's really, it's he's kind of an expensive guy even at 50 to 60 bucks.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm watching Chet Holmgren, and I've watched
He's good.
Wemby. Chet Holmgren's, I mean, he's skinnier than Wemby,
He's
and I
skinny.
think
He's
he
gotta
plays
put on
better.
weight and get built.
Yeah,
He looks
sure.
sickly out there.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah. We don't get NBA, coverage out here because we don't have Southpaw get off the Chet bus. I've been on that bus ever since he was at Gonzaga, so it's been a long time. But so yeah, no, to answer your question, I haven't gotten him. But what made me want to talk about this Wemby card or set in general was, I was talking on the phone with Vinny, and he was like, dude, I've ripped open 6 boxes and I saw I got a
Mhm.
Wemby card. And I'm
Mhm.
like, that's $240, dude. That's a
Mhm.
lot of money. And he's
Mhm.
like, he's frustrated, and like, I mean, that's the only card to get in the set, right? So like your return on investment's very, even if you get a Wemby card,
It's
you may
you're
not get the Wemby card to get
right.
$240 later.
Yeah.
Um,
And you know
so
what's the worst is what do you do with all that other junk?
to
What do you do with it?
recycle it, burn it.
You just throw it out? Like, that's
That's
it.
really what I do.
It's
Yeah.
they're like $1 or $2 a card, even less, right? Even, I mean, 50 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents. I mean,
I, I mean, I just think, you have to like put in the sleeve and then like,
yeah, just stick it
and
in your
hope,
just got it. Got it. Yeah.
and even,
That's one thing that, is that's the gamble you take when you collect cards for sure, right?
yeah. And Southpaw, yeah, I 100% agree with you. Like, Wemby's more marketable than Chet from a
Yeah.
league perspective because he's
Yeah.
international, right? I
Yep.
mean, I just think that from a statistical standpoint, and the value of his cards, he should be scoring like 50 points a game, getting 20 rebounds, and he's just
Mhm.
not doing that. So,
Mhm.
but time will tell.
Yeah.
But so I was talking with Vinny. I'm like, man, what if would you just like kept those sealed and just like put them away? And I've I've had this conversation with many people, right? And yeah, I think the go to is to just keep them sealed.
Yeah.
You get them for like $30, $40 or whatever, and just keep them in your
So,
closet.
yeah, Vinny, texted me, and I
Mhm.
bought 2. I bought 2
Oh, okay,
blaster
cool.
boxes, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep them
I think that's
sealed.
the play. Yeah.
That's the
I
plan.
mean, seriously, I mean, how cool would it be to have a 2003, 2004
Yeah.
Bowman basketball set
Mhm.
with LeBron and Dwayne
Mhm.
Wade?
Mhm. Mhm.
And the likelihood of getting, like, I remember when that set came out, I opened 2 boxes and got one LeBron card. I
Okay.
sold it years ago, but that was a different time. They didn't print as
Yeah.
many boxes, right? So
Yeah.
I just think that's kind of the play in general. And then
Yeah.
Pokemon, we're always talking about Pokemon. This new Paladin Fate set, it's gotten a lot of good reviews.
Okay.
Um, I went out and bought a couple boxes, and I'm just gonna keep them sealed. I think,
Mhm.
and I've looked at data for like Pokemon singles versus the sealed, and just kind of the ratio of like chances of getting like a Charizard or whatever card you're looking for. Man, it just makes so much more sense again to just keep these trainer boxes sealed and just wait for them to appreciate. It's more likely
Right.
you're going to make your money too. What do you think about that, man?
I absolutely think that that's the way to go. If you're gonna buy, you know, packs, or boxes, I think for those who have the funds, who can just go and rip all these boxes open and go for it, go for it. Go for, risk it or biscuit.
Hmm.
All the power to them. But for those of us who, these things are expensive. So,
Yeah.
keep them sealed and watch it appreciate. I know it's a lot of patience, and I know
Hmm.
it's a lot of holding back temptation, but you keep it, it'll appreciate a little bit every year. by the time like 10 years from now, you're looking at a lot of money for those unopened boxes.
Yeah.
So, just put it away, store it away. That's
Yeah.
that's my advice for
Yeah.
those who can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. The the nostalgia of like and Shiny Ricardo's like I can't agree. Ricardo's a lot of Pokemon rip videos. They're really fun to watch. And like, yeah, I mean I do them too on my channel, and like those get the most views because people like to see that nostalgia of opening up a pack. And I mean that's what's fun about it.
Oh,
But
I love opening up packs, man.
yeah,
It's that thrill, right?
it's totally the
Um,
thrill.
when I
Yeah.
was collecting, yeah, we all collected sports cards and Marvel
Yeah.
cards and all that when we were kids. Just ripping open packs was like the most fun we've ever had.
Yeah.
But they were cheaper. That's the
I
thing. They were
know.
like $2 a pack,
I
$1,
know.
$1.25 a pack. Now you're looking at $12 a pack or more
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
for the hobby. Like, I mean, the the regular packs like you find at Walmart, they're called hobby packs or whatever you buy at the hobby stores. Am I right, Ferd? And then there you got the regular packs, right? That you
Retail.
can find
Yeah.
at Walmart retail.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The retail packs now go for like what, $7 to $8 a pack
If
on
you're
average,
lucky.
if
Yeah,
you're
on
lucky.
average.
That's a
Yeah.
lot of money for like just opening
Yeah.
up for 12 cards, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
less.
And Shiny Ricardo, I mean, I don't know if we're like on the same wavelength, but I was thinking this too. The other reason why I think it's more beneficial for people to like not rip open packs is you have these rippers and scalpers that I don't know what it is, man, but Vinny and I like conspiracy theorists, right? Like I feel like these rippers like get sent special boxes with those one of ones to like promote the set. And so if it's already like a or like, zero chance game that, if you're unless you're on the inside, you're not getting those marquee cards. I'd rather just hold on to those unopened product and not try and fight against like the big rippers, quote unquote. It's such a different game with trading cards nowadays. You really have to enjoy it and know that the whole term like buy what you like. I think with cards it's like hold on to what you may not like. It's really weird. And then my good friend Pickles, kind of right there with you, man. He does not get the one we had. Granted, he might be better, but 29% from 3-point, 21, 10, 3. 45-29 splits is not great. Is not great. Yeah.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
So we'll see. And yeah, I mean, I agree with him. I don't usually agree with Pickles because I kind of hate him, but yeah, I do agree with him on that one
Is
thing.
he the I didn't check the stats yet, but is he the highest scoring rookie right now in the league?
I want to say the last time I
Like
checked,
overall?
it was Chet, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know. Last time I checked it was Chet Holmgren, but of course I have a Chet Holmgren crush. So, yeah. Okay, so those numbers are our tops for all rookies. Okay, so I guess he is the top scorer for rookies.
Yeah.
I just remember like and I'm not a LeBron huge fan. Like I'm Jordan era, so that's just kind of my like era. I just remember when like LeBron came out, like he was like 26, 9 or 8, and like 4, 5, 6, assists, and that was insane for a rookie. You know what I mean? So, yeah, the Wemby hype's kind of tough. What's up, Subi? Join us from Arizona. Good to see you, man. I don't have a lot about comic books this segment. Hopefully next time, but I kind of want to get your opinion about this.
Talk some comics.
What's that?
We'll talk comics, Ferd.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of just like the market's changed so much, right? I think it's back again to like what's good to read. But I also think that you can also look for stuff that's good to read and is good for option news or rumors, what have you, right? Because it's still the good stories are still held up by the good stories, and then the option news kind of bumps it up a little bit. But if it doesn't end up working, then it could still kind of revert back.
Right.
This Daredevil number 11, First Muse. Have you heard of this book before?
I have.
Okay. Do you have a copy of it?
I wasn't able to get a copy when it was first brought to my attention. It was in some top 10 show. I think it was Ben's top 10 show that they showed this book.
Yeah.
I tried to find it. I could not find this particular book, but I found the next one with Muse on the cover. So I
14.
have that book.
Cool.
And I'm still trying to search for this one. And you know me, I do the bin hunting.
Yeah.
I still haven't run across this one yet. I really want it. I think Muse is a cool character. And I know that rumors have it that he's going to be the main villain in the new Daredevil show. Who knows? That's going to be being true at the end. But it looks, if it is Muse, then it's going to be a cool character. It's going to be very like Seven-ish, very creepy type of character. So I'm all for it. More psychological type. You know, just kind of cool. To your thoughts on today's market, I think I mentioned on our Discord that I think we're headed toward the same sort of cycle that we had right after the crash in the 90s. So right after the crash, what happened was early 2000s was a very big lull period where no one was speculating. Speculators just vanished. There's no one around speculating books. What you saw at that point were amazing writers coming into the business. Bendis started then. I think Brian K. Vaughan started then. All these different writers came in and started writing great stories. And Bendis started his, masterpiece with Daredevil during that time. And so several writers then started writing some just amazing stories. And that went on for about 4 or 5 years until we started seeing the speculation game start up again. I remember, when I bought like key books now, like first X-23 on eBay at that time, it was like 2004 or 5 for $12 on eBay.
Yeah, crazy.
Comic books were not speculated on at that point, and I think we're not in that type of we're not sitting at that type of position right now. What we're sitting in is, because there's so much influence on YouTube for speculation, that's never going away. You're going to have these YouTube influencers always speculating, right?
Right.
It's their bread and butter. They need to speculate, right? So like guys like Comic Tom, et cetera, are going to be speculating on books every week. But what we're seeing is people are more reserved in buying weekly speculations. They're going to watch it and then they're going to go, I don't know about that one, right? It's not like, oh my God, he suggested it to me. I got to run to my comic store and see if they have any. It wasn't it's not like that anymore. And also with the downfall of like the MCU speculation and all that stuff, you're not seeing that hype train anymore with, the next big superhero, let's spec on that. It's not happening anymore. So what you're seeing is people moving toward great writing and great storytelling. And I think that's why, Ultimate Spider-Man and Transformers and G.I. Joe with great writing is what's heating up the market right now. And I think that's great. I think that's where we should be. Great writing, great storytelling, great artists overall should be speculated on. That should be speculated on, not some character like Pip showing up in a movie. Right? So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, not to be too agreeable, but like I agree. Because it's like I haven't got that feeling of wanting to go to a comic book store until like the last couple weeks, especially because of our Discord. I think everyone in here is in the Discord, but I was it's always nice to ask a question like, hey, what are you guys reading? I just want something good. And like, like someone like I know Brad, he suggested I think it was Ghost Rider to me. And I was like, screw it.
Yeah,
I'll just pick
I
up.
saw that on the Discord. Yeah.
Pick up 13 and, blah, blah, blah. But what I noticed about what he said was he didn't list off like 15 different titles. He listed off like 3. and I looked at my pull list, and I've said this for past, shows in the past. I've gone from like, 7 or 8 different, issues to like 4, um, and yeah, I think it's, I hope it keeps going, but I'm very cautious as well, with stuff. It's always hard to like not be a cover by person, because like I mean, that's what your eye see. You see the covers, but it ultimately what makes something worth something is the guts of the comic. If you have both the cover and the guts, then like that's cool. But yeah, man, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I was commenting in the Discord. I was going through like my taxes for my 2023 sales, and I was just looking at stuff, and I was like, why the hell did I buy that? And I'm so glad I got rid of it at that time. Or like, I can't believe I sold that for that much. Like, what was going on then? And now I look at stuff that I'm selling now, or like looking to buy, and it's back to that old, that's a cool character. Or, oh man, I always want X-23 for, less than what I thought I was going to pay back in the day. But I think also, to kind of piggyback on this, and then we can move on to the next segment. I don't know. There's no like real data to like show this off, other than like my own like just network of people. But just, you kind of talk to people like, well, what are you looking for? Have you got the issue of like XYZ yet? And they're like, oh, I'm done with that spec, or I'm not spec. I'm not getting that new issue of that new Star Wars character that's like the F list character, first appearance. I don't do that anymore. So I think either people that used to do that either left comics in general, and we don't need them, or they were never going to be part of the segment of the collecting part anyway, or like you and I think a majority of people, they've definitely like said like, I need to calm down on this like whole spec thing, because it's just not working. And I don't like to hold on to stuff, man. I keep my collection pretty like low key, and I get kind of fickle about that type of thing. So anyway, and then real quick, just I thought this is a cool cover. It reminded me of the Matina cover, like a poor man's Matina.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, second print. It's not really spec. I just thought like, man, I like that cover. I think I'm gonna pick it up.
Yeah, if you get Maddie on here, he was one of the first people for the Matina cover. He was the first few that I know that like totally was in love with that Matina Thrawn cover, and he had like 2 copies. I think he sold one when the hype, like he sold it for Boku bucks when the hype was around Thrawn. Awesome. And I think he kept the other. I'm not sure, but I love that Matina cover. It was amazing. I'm not a big Matina fan, by the way. It kind of comes with a caveat, but I did like that cover. But this book just came out, right? The Thrawn Alliances book.
Yeah, I asked around our Discord, like, had anybody read it? And I think I was a little early
supposedly, asking. It has the first in-story meetup of Anakin and Thrawn. So what that means is, in the story, Thrawn and Anakin never met in Star Wars, but in this particular book, they met. I think it's a past, like a flashback to the past, and they got a couple panels with them together. So that was the hype surrounding this, like first Darth Vader, I guess, aka Anakin, meeting Thrawn. But this book made, I think the variant of this, like was it a 1 in 25 variant?
There's like a 1 in 25. It's like half and half. Yeah,
the half and half made top 10 list this week, I believe.
The 1 in 100 was the number 1 book on the list, and
okay. This is not the one you're showing me. Is not the 1 in 100, is it?
No, this is second print. It's like second print or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it comes out next week. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But the 1 in 100. It was. I was like, I kind of looked at it in passing. I thought the pose was really cool.
Yeah.
And I posted on my Instagram. I go, is this cover of the year for 2024? And then 78 was giving me shit. He was all like, "Are you serious, bro?" And I kind of looked a little closer. I was like,
I don't even know how it looks, so I can't even comment on it.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I probably like overshot that a little bit, but I thought it was cool. But yeah, upon closer inspection, it's kind of corny. But
believe
and
me,
1 in 100s, man.
I have a different view on what good art is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a different eye than most folks on what good art is, and what I usually find amazing, people don't really gravitate to. So don't ask me.
It's all
Who's a
good.
Michael Turner fan except me?
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. I'm not a big Michael Turner fan. I think
I
I made that comment in jest in Discord many times, but I'm not a big Michael Turner fan. Never was. I thought his work was um, very. It seemed amateurish to me. I know it's heresy, but I thought that his command of anatomy and his work on female bodies was like totally. I mean, just look at the Supergirl stuff he drew. Like people love it, but like the anatomy's all off. She looks anorexic half the time.
I guess you're.
People look
I
at
guess
it,
the
she's
anatomy is like kind of
anorexic,
like crazy.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
So
Yeah,
his command of the anatomy was all off. But again, he did draw some great covers. And I think Ben and I, if you know Ben Stein, is Ben and I have the same view on Michael Turner.
I think I've heard that
uh,
before. Yeah.
yeah. So uh, rest in peace, Michael Turner. Very popular artist, but not for me. Yeah, I do like a couple of his stuff, a couple of his works, but yeah.
Silvestri was always the dude for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Darkness was like my.
Oh, Silvestri did some amazing covers. Like for
Yeah.
the Darkness was amazing.
Yeah.
I remember the covers for the Darkness was really good. I met Silvestri many times when I was a kid, when I was 15, 16, 17 years old. He used to do the Fan Expo Toronto.
Oh,
So
okay.
I used to be like sort of like his sort of usher or guard on the side, when people would line up.
Hmm.
Uh, my brother and I would just be there to like guide people toward the autographs, because back then they were signing for free.
Yeah.
They were doing sketches for free.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. I didn't know that.
yeah, Silvestri drew many sketches for me. Like you just sit there and draw me a sketch and just hand it over.
That's so
Uh,
sick.
yeah, and that's unheard of now. You know, same with Dale Keown. He drew me stuff, just
Yeah.
handed it over. And yeah, they were just really easy.
Yeah.
You could pay him like to obviously draw you a nice piece, but if
Yeah.
you just said, "Can you just draw me a head sketch or something?" They just draw you a head sketch and hand it over. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Jim Lee did like, is anyone like, "Hey, I'll do a sketch on a watermelon." And we were at there wasn't like a grocery store in sight. And some guy ran like across the street to some 7-Eleven, got a watermelon. And he was so psyched. I mean, my little town that I live in. It's funny. It's not actually not funny, but Silvestri's been like, he's like the one guy to always want to meet. Him and Kurt Busiek are like the two like main artists and writers I've always wanted to meet.
Funny you
But they
mentioned
never.
Kurt Busiek.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Funny you mentioned Kurt Busiek.
Uh-huh.
I thought he's one of the greatest comic book writers that you never hear of anymore.
I
I
know.
mean, he was so prolific. He was so prolific. He wrote some
Yeah.
great stuff, but people don't really mention his name anymore. Did he? I don't even know if he retired or not. But
I mean, I think I saw him on some label, but yeah, like high school, elementary school, like that was like I didn't even know who I was reading back then. I just read a book and I liked it. And his Avengers run from the late '90s and him and Perez, that's
Mhm.
my favorite Marvel series of all
Yep.
time.
Mhm.
But yeah, they never come to Seattle or like the West Coast, like Northwest or
Yeah.
South Alaska is what people think we live in. So I gotta fly somewhere to see him. I don't know. I've always been I'll like Instagram him and be like, dude, come to Seattle, and he'll like it and which is cool. But other than that,
Yeah, I don't even see him at cons either. I haven't seen Kurt
yeah,
Busiek at a con. But I
yeah,
just on a side note, you mentioned Pat Lee for Transformers the other day.
yeah, yeah,
Game
yeah.
He drew me a whole headshot, like a head sketch.
Wow,
Like, that's when he was pop. Like he was
sure.
huge. Like
He was so big. Oh
he
my
was so
god.
big.
Oh,
I thought
back
he
in the
was the
day.
nicest guy. And then I
Yeah,
hear that he like didn't pay people.
yeah,
Didn't pay people, drove around in a Porsche and didn't pay anybody.
yeah,
And he went from like virtually sleeping on people's couches to driving a Porsche overnight because he got so big. That's the same time that, you know, Liefeld, Jim Lee, and all those guys formed Image, and then Dreamwave and all those other
Dreamwave.
sort of side sister companies formed out of Image.
Yeah.
So they got rich overnight.
Yeah. That Dreamwave series of Transformers was like my ultimate favorite.
Yeah,
It was just so good.
you could draw.
And it was that and he did there was another series he did. It was like medieval vampires. Oh my gosh, I
Okay.
can't remember.
Well, he did another one called Dark Minds.
Dark Mind. He did Dark Minds too.
He
I have
did
a
Dark
copy of that
Minds,
somewhere.
and he
Yeah.
did a Punisher something or some Punisher something where Punisher had like he had sorcery weapons or something.
Yeah.
I believe he did something like that with the Punisher a while back, but this was way back like 20 years ago. But
Warlands is the name of the comic book.
what
I
was
mean,
it?
that's a deep dive. It was like vampires in like medieval times.
What
It
was the name
was
of it?
Warlands.
Warlands, yes.
Yeah,
I
okay, you
remember
remember that?
Warlands. Yep.
Man,
Yep.
that was good reading too. And
That was good
yeah,
reading. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
good
Yeah.
stuff. Bring me back, dude.
Oh, those comics are like 25 years old now.
I know, man. It's weird to think that too. And like, yeah, I mean, if you guys want a good read for cheap, man, go dive into Warlands or
They're
that old
dollar.
school
Yeah.
Transformers. Yeah, it's good
They're
stuff.
going to be in the dollar bins for sure. They're
Yeah,
good
yeah,
stuff. They're good
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Marcus and Vinny aren't here, but I just thought this would be nice to know with your expertise in NFT stuff.
Mhm.
So and I just read the headline here when I was scrolling through CNBC, but the CEO of OpenSea is open to either selling the company or having the
Oh,
company be
wow.
acquired.
Okay.
And I think like we're seeing a lot of like contraction, right, in NFTs and all that. And we won't make this too long. I know you guys aren't crazy about NFTs, but I think it's good to know, good info to know. I don't see it as a bad thing. I think it's like, oh shit, because Vinny and Marcus say this all the time, like 99% of NFTs just don't make it.
Mhm.
And it's almost like, I mean, it's kind of like, well, it's kind of like opening up a bunch of like, packs of Prism to try and get one Wemby card, right?
Yeah.
NFTs are kind of the same thing. But what is your opinion about this OpenSea knowledge? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm not an expert at this, and I'm openly going to say I don't know too much about it. I
Yeah, it's
don't
cool.
want to really comment on something I really don't know too much about.
Cool.
What I'll say is that I agree with the fact that like 99% of NFTs are waste or complete junk, lack of a better term.
Yeah.
I think that the way to get initially into one of the top 1% NFTs, you have to spend a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
You can buy a Bored Ape NFT for $100 or $200 or even $1,000. You'd have to spend well over $5,000. That's just the base. And if you go up, you're going up to $20,000, $30,000 for a Bored Ape. Of course, they're going to be the top 1%. Right? Of course, those are going to stick around because you've got a lot of big guys invested into it. But what about the ones that were $100 or $200 that you got into? Are those gone? They're junk.
Yeah.
So what, for those who are fortunate enough to buy those top 1% NFTs, that's great.
Yeah.
But you had to invest a lot to get in. Right? It wasn't even like Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin at some point was selling for like, I'm going off tangent here for like crypto, but you could even get into Bitcoin at some point for $2,000 to $3,000, right? And you were able to get in. But NFTs, when NFTs became hot, when they were, they became hot overnight, it seemed. Right overnight, you saw like, to jump in, you'd have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for the best NFTs. How are people going to jump into those?
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of money to jump into those, right?
Sure.
The
Yeah.
top 1%.
Yeah.
So what happens to the other 99% that you spent so much money on? Junk?
Yeah.
Oh,
Put in the recycling, like your Wemby losses, I guess, basically.
there you go.
Cool.
So the point I'm trying to make is, sure, the 1% will have value, but the 1% are what only the 1% can get into in terms of financial investment.
Yeah.
The rest of us couldn't get into that. So where does that leave all of us, in terms of NFTs? That's why I think NFTs are very risky.
Yeah. Big time.
So that's my 2 cents. I'm by no means an expert in it.
Yeah, no, I remember right there with you too. I know a lot of people don't really dig the NFT stuff, and I don't try and get too long in the tooth about it. But I think it's still good information to know, because if at some point, like, physical media goes away and NFTs are the next thing, it's more open for people to invest in them, then that's something to kind of take into consideration. But for the purposes of now, it's a little risky. Back to some other fun physical stuff. And again, we're almost an hour in. I want to thank the 8 live. We had 11 at one point. They're coming through. I want to thank Dak for coming through and joining me tonight. I don't know where Marcus is at. He said he's recording a brand new platinum label, 100 million copies sold album, but he may be joining us later. If not, that's all good. I got Dak here with me, and I thank everyone for watching the show. Some magazine market stuff and some video game stuff, and just some things I just thought were things to look at. So my good friend Fedora had recommended this weekly Shonen Jump volume 42 that came out a couple years ago. It's the first cover of One Piece. This character goes into like crazy mode.
Yeah.
So he recommended this like 4 months ago, and now that CGC is now grading shonen weekly shonens, there's been a little bit more speculation and interest into the medium. He was recommending this for like $20. I saw one sell for around 60. So that was pretty recent. I don't have any weekly shonens, but I definitely do take a look at it personally, just to see where the market's going. And I think it's a very fluid kind of like rise. It's not your overnight Ultimate Spider-Man #1, but 78's been on the show before. Fedora has talked about this. I mean, he talked about, in general manga, but 78 specifically said that One Piece is like the most popular manga in Japan right now. And I hear a lot about it here too. The live action wasn't too bad, but I mean, this was a $20, manga 4 months ago, and now it's 60 ungraded, which I think is a healthy rise. It's a 120% rise or 200% rise in your return on investment. I don't know if you were watching our show back then, but have you ever like, does Chicago have stands that have weekly shonen that you can just go into? Yeah, it's tough, right?
It's not. I mean, not to generalize or stereotype. I think is this something you probably find in Chinatown or Asia Town?
Yeah, there's a Japanese market here in Seattle that has it. So yeah,
find Shonen Jump on a just on the it's Barnes and Noble stand, that, right? I've never seen them, to be honest. I've never seen him on the stands. I do see occasionally, if I go to Half Price Books, I'll see back issues of them.
Oh, okay.
But I never know which one is good, which one is like a spec pick. Maybe we can put a list together for Shonen Jump. I don't know if there is a list to put together. Is there any around that we can actually refer to? I'm not sure, but if there was a list we put together on which Shonen Jumps to get, that'd be awesome, because then we can just refer to that list, because there's so many, right?
There's a ton. Fedora knows a lot of it too.
Fedora has a lot.
He just has a knowledge base for weekly and Shonen Jumps. I mean, like, it's insane.
Sweet.
Yeah. So
Sweet.
I
Yeah,
can
I
ask him.
don't. Yeah, I know that several, I mean, key characters like in manga have first appeared in Shonen Jump, like
Yep.
Dragon Ball Z and
Mhm.
who else? Was there several others, right? One Piece, of course, and then there's was it Cure? No, no, that wasn't a. What was the
I
other
don't think
one?
so.
Was it? Where did Pokemon first appear?
I don't know.
W-
That's probably argumentative, right? There's people probably like, oh, he was in Nintendo Power Magazine first, or
Yeah,
no, he was here in blah 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 trading card game
I
magazine, yada
believe
yada.
Vinny would know this. I think Vinny is the right guy to talk about the Shonen Jump stuff because I think he has the first appearance of Pokemon in Shonen Jump.
Yeah, that's
I
a
think
great
that's what he
collectible to
started
get.
with. Yeah, yeah. It's something we should all look at. If we can find these Shonen Jump books.
Hmm.
I mean, the best bet would be go to Japan.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll stream live from Japan when it's
Yeah, exactly. Right.
we'll see, we'll see. Um, yeah. So I just thought that was like for watching the show and just kind of listening to like I mean, $20 is a lot less than
Yeah,
$1,500 on a
it's a
or
g- it's a
yeah
good buy. It's a
yeah.
good buy for sure.
And the fact that CGC is now grading them, it's just going to bring more focus onto the market, and that data will come through. It's still a little early, I think, but I mean that's a nice return on investment there for sure.
Right.
And then just I was looking up strategy guides, and I for some reason I typed in Legend of Zelda.
Hmm.
I never heard of this Legend of Zelda Link to the Past player's guide before,
Okay.
but evidently it came out obviously when the game came out. I wonder if this is like the first Legend of Zelda strategy guide. Have you heard of this strategy guide before?
I have not heard.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep a lookout for this, and I'm gonna do some more research on it.
Yeah.
You brought me into the world of strategy guides.
It's a fun one. It's a
I've
fun
never.
one.
I mean, my expertise is definitely comic books, but I've never actually looked into strategy guides. But now I'm like, looking for them actively. I was gonna even message you the other day. I went to a
Yeah.
small local con,
Yeah.
and they had strategy guides there in a video game booth. And
Awesome.
I was like, which one do I buy? I don't know, but I'll message you next time.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Wade, give me the knowledge here. The first one was Nintendo Power with Map. Okay, that's cool. I just
Okay.
thought
Okay.
I saw asking prices for this strategy guide were like in the three figures, and so I was like, huh. There weren't any bites now, but I just thought, oh, okay, that's something that I want to ask you about. Should I probably ask Wade on the next show, but that's all good. And yeah, don't forget to like the stream, everyone. I appreciate everyone coming through. And then we talked about this last week with Sports Illustrated
Mhm.
possibly shutting down,
Mhm.
or someone's going to buy out the publications. There's a lot of like what ifs, but I read some stuff on like CNBC, Bloomberg, that what was going on at Sports Illustrated. What's up, Tony? Tony, you came in the perfect time. We may have to have you, Tony. I'll have to hit you up on Instagram, man. I kind of want to have you on the show one of these days. Tony's like, he goes crazy on magazines, man. Like I'll get
Okay.
like 4 different messages from him on like a day on just any type of magazine. Like I can't even like tell you how much knowledge he has, but it'd be cool
Mhm.
to have him on the stream and have like more magazine like data, have him talk about it. But from what I heard from like Bloomberg and news outlets was essentially like the Sports Illustrated like offices were pretending it was like 1995, meaning they were like spending like having like huge like corner offices like built out and like booze up the wall and like spending way too much money as if like no one was working from home, that kind of thing.
Mm.
And no one's buying magazines anymore, so they came in and shut down the whole operation because it's like, well, you got $100 going out and about $3 coming in type of thing, and it was all just from like exuberance. So I don't think it's going to go away like Tony's kind of alluding to. But what I thought was kind of was something to look out for. Well, if someone takes them over, are they going to push it more to digital and only have instead of 10 copies of SI at Barnes and Noble, reduce it to 5. I mean, we're seeing already with like Best Buy not selling, DVDs anymore going forward in Q4 or Q3 or something like that. But Vinny is saying like SI for kids, like no kid knows about SI for kids, and like they're a ghost whenever I go to Barnes and Noble and it's like Sports Illustrated Day, and like using numbers for like one specific store. Literally, the person that orders like magazines for the store, she says they order about 1/5 of Sports Illustrated for kids than they do for Sports Illustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, so for every like, if they order 10 Sports Illustrated, regular covers, they're only getting 2 Sports Illustrated for kids.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to reduce going forward, but Vinny told me about the Spec. Now this is the one that just came out. It has Chet Holmgren, not his rookie card, but his SI card in there, and Shadir Sanders is the middle card.
Okay.
So if he blows up, I mean, it's essentially like, I don't know if it's his first card, but it could be his. Not only do you have like lower print run on Sports Illustrated for kids, but you have 2 potential like stars of the game on a Sports Illustrated medium. What do you think about that?
I think it's a good play. I just am very weary about the cards themselves. What I mean by that is we all know that they're perforated in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you go to grade them, you're going to get it's going to be very hard to hit a high grade with those cards.
Seriously.
But to grade the magazine from CGC might be a better bet.
I like that one too.
Because it'll say, whatever, Chet insert card inside or whatever, it'll say it on the label. And I think that would be a better bet than actually breaking out the card and getting those graded as like their rookie cards. That's what I think, but I do like for me, it's a great investment because it's low risk, high reward, right? You're not paying that much to get these books. What is it? $6, $7 maybe?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but it's like under $6, that kind of thing, right?
It's low risk, high reward type of investment, which I like. It's like it's not going to kill you if nothing happens with it.
Yeah.
So those are the types of investments I usually like. I'm a very Warren Buffett type of investor.
Oh, you've read what is it?
I forget the name too. I'm sorry.
There's Snowball, which is I've read that 3 times. I loved that autobiography, and then The Intelligent Investor. There you go.
The Intelligent Investor. That's it. That's it.
The Intelligent Investor is the same condition as my Final Fantasy VII strategy guide.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What the hell?
Oh, dude, yeah. I loved that book during college, man. Like I still revert to it to this day.
Excellent.
If you want good spec for reading, man, like read Intelligent Investor. It'll change your world about everything. Well, good stuff, man. I'm glad you're on the show today. Just kind of sharing your opinions and stuff.
And one more thing, I wanted to add, off tangent a little bit, but remember we spoke about MetaZoo last week?
Oh yeah, and how they got axed. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you heard about this news before I did? I just heard it like yesterday that MetaZoo's bankrupt. They're done.
Yeah, they're looking for people to buy out the product. It's funny. When MetaZoo came out, I said, "Oh, how do you play the game?" And the buddy who was like 45, he was like, "Oh, I don't know, but it's it's the next Pokemon."
Yeah.
And then it's funny as I went to Emerald City Comic Con, which is like our big con, right? This guy, he's just like 20-year-old kid, was like, "Oh man, I like your Pokemon sweatshirt." I was like, "Oh, thanks." He's like, "Here, take a MetaZoo card." And I was kind of like, oh, I mean, I'm not a MetaZoo person, but so I was like, oh, how do you play the game? He's like, oh man, it's the next Pokemon. He didn't even know, he didn't he didn't get the mechanics of it. He was just like some kid he looked like a kid off the street, kind of, some punk kid, but like,
so I'm going to read this out. I don't know if you got the letter that the founder of MetaZoo
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is what he said. His name is Michael Waddell. It said, "It is with a heavy heart that I must announce that effective immediately, MetaZoo Games will be closing and shutting down all operations. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone, yada, yada, yada. Special thanks to MetaZoo artists and staff." So basically, from what I'm reading here, they couldn't sell the company. They're shutting down operations. That's what I'm reading from this.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a sad story of over leveraging. I think that's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
I think when it was good, but you need to financially plan for rougher days, right? And so I think what happened was he over leveraged himself. I mean, his booths were huge in San Diego Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
And there were lineups for an hour to get a card. Like they were handing out cards. There's lineups. Like he even had what is it? What's the word I'm thinking of? Like a contract with Hello Kitty to sell Hello Kitty cards. So I thought he was doing really well because that must have been a multi-million-dollar contract, right?
Yeah.
With Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
Because Hello Kitty is one of the most recognized like franchises in the world, IPs in the world. And if he had contracted with Hello Kitty, I thought he was doing great. But this was just 9 months ago, and now he's filed for he's closing down operations. So very strange.
I'm watching the first 48. No, I'm not. Should I be?
What's the first 48?
It's like a crime show, like murder show.
Oh, okay. He's talking about that. Hey,
Marcus. What's that? What's with the purple background?
He's still in the red light district.
I'm in a studio.
That's so cool, man.
I'm in a studio booth. Oh. I'm coming in hot.
Have you ever been swallowed? Marcus had me spit out my coffee while I was talking to him. Like, literally like, oh man, I spit out I literally choked on my coffee when I was talking to him today or earlier this week. It was funny. It was good stuff. How you been? How's your week going, Marcus? Are you in San Francisco yet?
No, I'm not in San Francisco yet. I'll be in LA from the 5th through the 9th. Nice. And then we're in San Francisco the following week. We're in Indiana on the 15th at University of Indiana for a show with, I think it's NLE Choppa and somebody else. I don't know.
Did you get a haircut?
Huh?
Did you get a haircut?
Absolutely.
Oh, looks nice.
New year, new money.
New year, new money. All right. Cool. Yeah, we were just talking about some manga, talking about the SI stuff, and then Dak was referring to the failed MetaZoo.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about, man. MetaZoo! Fuck MetaZoo!
It's done. Put a fork in it.
God damn it! Fuck MetaZoo! MetaZoo! I spent money. Okay,
I'm sure you did.
I got silver necklaces with the Mothman and the lunch boxes and all the other. Michael Waddell, you kiss my whole black ass. I'm gonna tell you something. I done sat up here and spent all this money, and then you're gonna close the door, so you're gonna take my money and run. That's what you're doing.
I'm clipping that. I'm putting that in the Instagram.
Yeah, he must have taken the money and run for sure. I don't think he came out of that bankrupt.
He did not come out of it bankrupt at all.
Yeah. It reminds me of Nikola Motors. That whole thing. That's what it reminds me of. It's a big scam and all that. But anyway,
MetaZoo can kiss my ass.
Kiss my booty.
No, not my booty, my ass.
Oh, my ass. Okay, all right.
MetaZoo! Man, I'm so upset. I don't know, man. I'm so annoyed. I could just shit in this studio right now. I just take a whole ass shit. That's how annoyed I am.
Damn, that's
how much you spent on MetaZoo, Marcus?
I didn't spend that much money. Let's be clear. but I spent enough money. I spent enough money to be upset about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the fact that, man, MetaZoo was really on a steamroll. And it's crazy because I work out with this guy at the gym who really is like a card collector, right? So, because of the way Michael Waddell was running his business, he was like, yeah, bro, you might want to jump out of MetaZoo now, bro, while everybody is still trying to figure it out, man. Go ahead and jump out and get this other thing called sorcery or something like that. Yeah. And he was telling me you need to jump in that because he got in sorcery when it was a Kickstarter.
Dude, it's so expensive. That sorcery, I talked about it on our podcast before.
Yeah.
It's like it was $200 like $250 a box, like out the gate after the Kickstarter.
But now it's like money right now. Like
it's stupid money. Those cards,
like thousands of dollars.
The game is so fun. I haven't played it, but I've watched it, and so the mechanism of the game is like really well received, and the lore is really cool. The quality of the cards is really great. It's
they're saying that the cards is like Frazetta looking, like, you know, it looks like Frazetta art. It's like breathtaking art.
Yeah, it's like it's thick. The cards are thick. You know. Yeah.
So I'm trying. So I mean, you know, if anybody wants some MetaZoo shit, now the word on the street is that there's a bigger company that's going to do it, but Michael Waddell had to step totally out of it and really say that I'm not in it no more. Like, he had to walk away. If they were going to come and get into it, then he had to basically peace out and publicly peace out in order for them to get involved and for MetaZoo to live on. So even when you read the letter, he's like, my hope is that MetaZoo lives on and da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, blah, blah, blah. So I wouldn't be, because even I was talking to Vinny today. Vinny was saying that the Hello Kitty MetaZoo cards are still selling for like $150. So it's like I'm going to do a mass exodus when I get home. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff on eBay before it hits the rest of the world that MetaZoo is closed. I mean, you know, for card collectors, it's, you know, people like that. But if you're anything like me, you ain't really following, and you're gonna see something and be like, yeah, shit, I'll buy it. Okay, cool. And sell it to your ass too. I'm selling it.
What do you think about this? Do you think because of this bankruptcy, you know, because MetaZoo's shutting down, we're not going to get any more MetaZoo cards? You think in like 5-10 years, those are going to be like heavily sought after?
I do believe that, but I want to wait 5 or 10 years. I believe that MetaZoo is going to make a comeback because
nostalgia for certain group.
It gathered so much steam.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is definitely going to do a return to, you know, prominence, but it's going to take a minute. Like, you know, Waddell has to literally walk away, which he has, and people are still going to play the game. I mean, the mechanics of MetaZoo people still really like. Mothman is still really a card. If the cartoon gets picked up or anything like that happens or turns into a thing, the smarter move is let's say, you know, not even say Pokemon, but let's say, you know, the people that do Yu-Gi-Oh go and grab it, because that would be something along the lines of what they would want to do. I mean, it's dynamite waiting to explode in the right hands, if that makes any sense. Waddell didn't know what to do with it, so he jerked it off. But if you find somebody that really knows what they're doing, they can bring it back to prominence, but now you got cartoons and Mothman and, you know, all the Loch Ness Monster. I mean, this is definitely an Adult Swim or a Cartoon Network thing that could take off and become a thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all like scary creatures and shit. So I'm sure, I mean, and the lore is like this. I think he did it off of like real stuff like Loch Ness Monster or the Amityville Abominable Snowman, like, you know, like real folklore kind of shit. So it can work. It has to get in the right hands so it can work.
Yeah, I was telling Ferd, like, how the hell did this happen? He had like contracts with Hello Kitty and everything was going well. You had like the biggest booth in San Diego Comic-Con, and then suddenly you had to close operations after 8 months from San Diego.
Because he had to get out of it. Yeah, he had to get out of it so whoever can come in and grab it. Like if I'm smart and I see that I'm the reason that is going down, I'm going to move myself out the way. I'm going to do a deal to where it can pop up somewhere else. I'm going to step away. I'm gonna step out of the spotlight and step out of anything to do with MetaZoo, just so MetaZoo can live. And I'm gonna keep getting my check on the back end.
Yeah, that's
what I would do. So. But until then, MetaZoo! Damn it.
Well, there you have it. MetaZoo. I have $0 invested in MetaZoo, so good luck to you all that, do have it, or, hopefully in 5 to 10 years, Marcus is a little bit right. I'm personally going to stay away from the MetaZoo kind of buy on the dip, that kind of thing. It's just because I don't know enough about it. I don't know enough to talk bad about it. I don't know enough to talk good about it. So I just never got into it. So
totally.
Yeah. But
I'm just saying I'm just saying I'm gonna hold on to the things that I think are gonna make money, and I'm gonna sell the shit that I have in bulk.
Yeah.
And
why not?
They give me for it's gonna be great.
Yeah. Why not? Right? It's like is what it is, right? So
it's still a good card game. It's still, it lasted for 4 years. It lasted long enough for a community of people to come and do whatever they need to do with it. Let me say that. So that's real.
I like it. Yeah, it's not, and I think this is a good play. Regardless, because you have Hello Kitty freaking collectors out there. So yeah, I like that. I think this is the last segment. I don't have Marcus. I didn't have a lot today. I'm gonna do something a little different for both of you guys. At the end, I'm not doing a this or that. I'm doing something a little different. You'll see. But yeah, so Until Dawn, this video game from PS4, just got optioned, and so kind of reverting my ideas with comic books and going to video games, because people would spend 59 hours of video game playing it and having that kind of commitment to it. I bought a couple sealed PS4s of this game. I don't know the timeline of when it's going to come out, but I figured, with that same kind of mentality of like, when something gets optioned, yes, it hasn't really hit with comic books lately, but if it can hit with video games and video games start to get going, like Vinny's kind of alluded to, I think that's not a bad play. Worst case scenario is I can just sell it back for $20 and break even. And I only bought a couple of these guys. Another game that's coming out this year, and this kind of couples along with the news about Microsoft acquiring Activision. They let off a bunch of their employees. I didn't read the whole article, but evidently they laid off a lot of the physical, right? The physical departments that are making physical games or whatever, right?
People who are responsible for making the discs. They let all of them go.
So if Microsoft, who just reported earnings today and is now like at their best earnings of like all time and stuff, if if they can stomach like that much of an expense, why are they getting rid of it? And it just makes sense, right? They're not going to be putting out physical games for that much longer. So I was looking at upcoming games that are coming out that could have the triple play of being one of the last Xbox physical games, possibly having a comic book behind it, as well as possibly being optioned, right? Mm-hmm. The Skull and Bones game is coming out for Xbox. I pre-ordered it. It's a play on it being one of possibly the last physical games. It's not in high print anyway, because going forward, we're not going to see as many physical games being produced. What do you guys think about these two plays, kind of on separate kind of questions or whatever?
I absolutely would get in on it.
Cool.
I agree. I think getting in on sealed video games at the end of sealed video games, like hard copies, is amazing play. I'll go one further.
Okay.
Have you guys know about Cyberpunk 2077, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You do know they re-released it.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
There's a business case behind Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, okay.
What happened was they spent, I believe, don't quote me on the exact figures, but I think I just read it. I had a cursory glance at the business case, but what happened was they spent $300 million to create the game.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
shit.
when they released it, they had so many bugs that the fans hated the game. So they made less than, I believe, about or less than $100 million in revenue. So they spent 300 million and they made 100 million. So that game was an epic failure. Okay. But what they did, the CEO of the company did not just cut their losses. This is where what they did was special. The CEO then brought together scrum teams. They went back and corrected each of the problems in the game over the next 3 years or 2 years systematically, and then re-released the game. They even got Idris Elba as one of the star characters on top of Keanu Reeves. They re-released it, and now it just won Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last point I'm going to make is the Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition is very tough to get in a hard copy because they were digitally released. So Best Buy sold out. I think you can buy them on eBay, but Best Buy sold out of the hard copies. Now, if you can get your hands on Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, that's also a great buy right now because that's being touted as one of the best games in the last decade. The revised version.
I need somebody to send me that link so I can buy it.
Here, I'll just do this right here.
No. Just send it to me offline, brother. I need, because I'm in the studio. I can't do anything with it right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't want everybody to beat me to it. I don't want everybody to beat me to it for.
I mean, there's plenty on eBay.
There's plenty on eBay.
Yeah.
Yes. They're about $60 to $70.
Yeah, it's pricey, but I mean,
but very low. They're very limited.
Oh, that's the regular amount of what it is. But yeah, I didn't know that because I remember I saw it. Was it the original game or the DLC that got Game of the Year? I guess it's
the one that got Game of the Year. The one to buy is the one that got Game of the Year.
It's
the Cyberpunk Ultimate version. Yeah, that's the one. The PS5, correct?
The PS5
or the Xbox. I would go for the PS5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's on there. I mean that's great. So last kind of game I want to go into, and then we'll get into like the little mini segment here. So Pal World, Tony, he's talking about it. Actually, a friend from another Discord, the Dragon's Den, he's trying to get me to play this game, and online games just really aren't my thing. I just don't want to get addicted to something that I'm going to spend 8 hours on, whether I could, be doing something else. But this is not my thing. But I'm not snobby to it because it's taking over. A lot of people are playing this game, and essentially it's from what I understand. Now, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Pokemon meets Fortnite. So you have these like Pokemon type characters that aren't actually Pikachu or whomever, but I mean, basically looks like Pokemon. And Nintendo's pissed, and they're like, "Stop fucking using this shit," and like blah blah blah. And so there's controversy with it. With when controversy comes popularity, right? Because now it's like, oh shit, they're getting all this bad press, but it's actually good press. For the purposes of the show, I was asking my buddy, I'm like, hey, why is there any physical copies? I went online, tried to find like a PC version, yada yada. Well, evidently it's still in beta testing mode. So they haven't fully fledged, like released the game yet. But it just kind of reminds me of like one of those nostalgia type things that like, I want a piece of it just in case. Like, I don't want to miss out on it. And again, this is like I never played the game. I know I don't really intend on doing it just because. But man, everyone ages like 16 to 82 play this game all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus, do you play the game? I mean, I don't know if you
No,
play,
I don't
you know
play
it
it because I have an Xbox, but I don't play my Xbox, and it's only on Xbox.
Okay.
But I'm hearing great things about it.
Yeah.
Like I know a bunch of people playing it right now.
Yeah. So what I was saying earlier, I don't know if you heard, but like there's no physical, like you can't buy like a Pal World on Xbox. It's just the digital part, right? But my buddy was saying like, well, wait until they get done with the beta testing, then jump on the physical like part thing. I think if it's like $50, shit, I'll play. I'll play it. Dak, what do you think about that, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I mean, the only comparison I have is to Fortnite, just Fortnite itself. I remember Fortnite was released very limited quantities. I think Vinny and I did a search on this. I think there were about 40,000 hard copies of Fortnite released. Nothing, yeah. Right? And it was soon released totally digital, and it blew up, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just using that and that as a comparison. I mean, if Power World comes out in a very limited amount in a hard copy, I would get it. I mean, I've never played Power World. I've just heard of it right now. So okay. Yeah, I've never heard of Power World before.
Yeah. Nah, it's going crazy right now.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the kiddies be playing it, like the 20-year-old kids, man, they're playing it, right? And it's a funny concept, man. I mean, like Pokemon meets Fortnite, blow people up or blow little Pokemons up and all that stuff. Yeah. So I just wanted to, remind people that, it's not physical yet. And the other thing too is like, even if they like, so this would be like kind of the perfect thing, right? So let's say they get past beta, they get physical copies or whatever, and then like a year later they get sued and they have to shut it down. Like, I think that'd be actually even cooler to happen.
Yep.
Because like you have like this shut down video game that had like 25 million users or something.
So what's the rationale behind why they would be shut down?
Because they basically, Nintendo's pissed because this Power World, everybody's comparing it to Pokemon with Pokemon meets Fortnite. So I mean, basically they beat Nintendo to the punch, and Nintendo's like, well, we own Pokemon, so why would you even have it don't even look like Digimon. It looked like straight Pokemon characters.
It really does.
Oh, really? So the similarities are way too similar. Basically.
Way too similar. Yeah.
Okay. It's like remember when like NCAA football, like NIL, it's basically like USC running back number 1 is a 99 speed, but it's not Reggie Bush. I mean, it's basically like, right. That's the comparison there. So.
I'm like the little thumbnail you have there. I see like characters, and they now I'm taking a closer look. Yeah, some of them look very similar to the Pokemon characters for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's taken off too, and it's taken off really quickly. And like
thanks,
my
Tony.
friend, my
Tony's
friend that many of the characters are almost identical. Yeah. And the other thing too is like I'm not a gamer. I know a little bit about it, like online gaming and whatnot, but like when gamers are very fickle, and so like they'll play a game for 3 years and be like, I'm over this, and then they'll move on to the next game. This is like that new next game, or that next game that people will leave like Valorant for and go to Pal World, and they'll just play Pal World or whatever.
Gotcha.
So
yeah,
I think that's all I got for this week. So I do have something I want to ask you guys, and Dak, you kind of inspired me about this when I sent you that email about, or that text message about Warhammer. So you're like, this is the book to get for $350, or it's listed at $350 or whatever. Marcus, Dak has been kind of on a hunt for these original Warhammer 40K books, kind of like piggybacking like on D&D, but Warhammer is kind of the next thing, right? So I picked a few things and just kind of want to get your opinion on these. Obviously, Dak, you're like all about this, but what do you think about this, Marcus?
I don't know enough about it. I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't spend $350 on anything called Warhammer unless it was like a strategy guide. that, that was kind of, something that people are looking for. But see, he knows that people are looking for it. See, that's the difference. It's like, I never forget, this is a true story. I went to a comic book store and bought a book. It's a book called, for the real collectors out there, they know what this is. It's a book called It Rhymes with Lust. And it is the first something. It's something, but I mean, it looks like a regular book, but I guess it's the first comic novel, some shit like that. I don't even know how I got my hands on this book, but it was like a really rare kind of book. I bought it for like $300 and I ended up selling it for like a crazy amount of money just because I didn't know what it was. I was just like, oh yeah, that looks pretty cool. Because I was into like the 50s kind of Art Deco kind of artwork that the cover had on it, right? If you go look up It Rhymes with Lust, like on eBay right now, you'll see it sells for like crazy money. If you pull it up right now, you'll see. And this is kind of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's such a niche kind of thing. And I mean, like, that. But now go pull up like highest price for that. The original book, that's not it.
I guess they don't have it.
Oh, well then there you go, because that's not the original. Sure.
But yeah, I know what you mean though. Yeah.
It went for like stupid money.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, if you're in the know, you're in the know. You can get good deals. Like, right. I was just talking with Ferd. Ferd put out a link to an amazing purchase. I don't know if anyone on our Discord got it, because I missed out on it, and it was the first. What was it?
Simpsons.
Correct.
Yeah.
First Simpsons for $35. The others are listed from $3,000 to $25,000. Someone got it from our Discord.
Somebody got. I don't know if it was from our Discord, but yeah, somebody got it. Yeah.
But
stupid.
That was. I'm kicking myself because it's very hard to get that book. Extremely hard to get that book.
Yeah. The guy didn't know what he had. I think is basically what happened.
I didn't know what that was about either. And after I did a little bit of more investigation, I went to go purchase it. It was already gone.
Yeah. I should just, I found it. I was like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And whatever.
For guys who are listening, it was Animation Magazine #1.
That's what it was. Yeah. I'm sure Tony knows what it is. And I mean, he's all over it. But yeah, it was $35. Buy it now.
It's like, I mean, it's like basically given away.
Yeah. A stupid thing too was like the reason I didn't go for it was because like, it's like not in perfect condition. It's from 1985, man. That's like, it's almost, it's young.
You're never going to get something in perfect condition, especially especially magazines. They're too tough to get perfect.
Even like a magazine at like Barnes & Noble today is hard to get 9.8.
Okay,
like,
so Tony has a 9.4.
Okay, so there you go. See, Tony's the man. I mean, he should be running the show right now.
Yeah, Tony's the magazine guy. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Here's the next one I want to ask you about, and I'm always thinking of like, okay, what can I turn $5 into like 100, right?
Yes.
And so again, with kind of reverting back to like our Bryce Purdy analogy, right? So The Last of Us. Yeah. I mean, that was the show last year.
Yep.
The comic book went from like 3, I don't know, it went up quite a bit and stayed that level for a month or two after the show came out. It's died down a little bit. Everything kind of Last of Us has died down. However, I'm looking at prices for the sealed video game from 2013, and you have to be kind of cognizant of which ones to get. But they re-released the remastered edition of the second one on PS5, so there's more focus on that because of that. And I mean, if you get a 9.4, 9.6, you're gonna get your money back. 9.8s go for like $499. This one's listed for $200. It's pretty tough to get a 9.8 in sealed video games. I'll say that straight up. But if you can, if you find one that's like in pretty good condition for like under $40 and submit a CGC, I think it's a good play getting ahead of the show coming back for season 2. Marcus, what do you think about that, man?
I totally agree.
I agree because I have one.
Oh, there you go. Are you shocked at this? Are any of you guys shocked at how cheap these are for like, $30 to $60? Is that weird? I don't know.
I got mine from Second and Charles for $6, a sealed copy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago. I just happened to find, when I go to Second and Charles or Half Price Books, the first thing I do is scan the video games to see if there's any sealed games.
Okay.
And then just pick the sealed ones out and see what the game is. Now, I was very lucky that day. They had a sealed Last of Us first print, and I picked that one up. But I would suggest that if you can find them cheap for under $40, it's a good play. However, there's a caveat to this. They were heavily printed. This was one of the best games, right? Possibly ever. Game. Yeah. So they were very heavily printed. I don't know how many sealed games there are in existence. I wouldn't suspect too many compared to the number printed. So still, even if they are heavily printed, we all know it's supply demand, right? New Mutants 98 is heavily printed. But
ASM 300.
Right?
Yeah.
You still a 9.6, 9.8 can bring you big bucks, right? Even if it's heavily printed. So,
yeah,
if you get something of high quality, sure, it might be heavily printed, but still worth getting.
Yeah. And Marcus, do you have a lot of graded video games at all?
I do. Mm-hmm.
What service do you, out of your experience, what for like right now, what's working for you?
CGC.
CGC, yeah. I'm right there too.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I was
Marcus, quick. Sorry to interrupt. Marcus, how much do they charge for grading CGC for video games?
35, right?
Yeah, 35 or 45.
35?
It's and they're fast. They're like a month turnaround. They're so quick.
Okay.
I like it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're really
the
nice.
Cases come back really beautiful.
The one thing I'm banking on is CGC doing video games magazines and all this, because I have the strategy guide for this. I have the sealed PS3 and a PS4 actually. I want to combine them all and sell and like either have that as my PC or sell it all together, and that it's like all like one kind
portfolio.
Of like, yeah. I think that'd be kind of cool. It's expensive. It's risky play, but the advent of like everyone wants a 9.8 in comic books and like not so many video games are getting graded.
9.9 or bust now.
Right. It's just getting ridiculous. I think from a selling standpoint, you kind of have to present your product in a different way. And I think that's the only way I can really think of.
Right.
I don't know personally, but and then my last thing, I just thought this was really like an odd, and I think of this personally because I sold it for so high. Ultimate Comics All New Spider-Man #5 this was like an $80 comic book. I want to say September, August of 2023. I sold my 9.8 copy for $625.
Wow.
So this was kind of like, I want to say this was, if you guys don't know, it's the first time that Miles is named Spider-Man. So there's kind of this weird kind of conversation going around. It kind of caught fire during August and September of last year, and precursor to that as well. Excuse me. There was arguments that this is the book to get, not UF4, which is stupid, right? UF4 is the book to get, just due to the fact that he's named Genki, his best friend, is like, you're Spider-Man. And then at the end, it says like basically like, yes, I'm Miles Morales, Spider-Man. And so that's the first time he's actually named Spider-Man. Not at UF4, he's in the costume, right? So he's obviously Spider-Man in it, right? That's the one. Like there's no argument there.
Yeah.
But it was interesting that this was, such a high price point just because of the fact he's named Spider-Man in the comic. It's one of those weird arguments, right?
I would just get UF4 and move on about my business, sir.
would you spend 25 to 30 bucks though and be a completionist, or at least like hope for a 9.8, sell it for 250 or whatever?
No, I wouldn't even waste my time or energy.
Yeah.
The only way
that's me though. I'm weird.
No, that's all good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
right to the meat.
And yeah, and that's where that is your kind of like viewpoint on it. You don't want to deal with other like kind of like, oh, it's argument, because that's kind of how I was about it too,
That's
right?
the argument. This is the first time that they announced him as Spidey.
Well, technically, that kind of thing. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm an opportunist, right? Fuck it, I'm just gonna put it on the market for $1, and I end up getting $6.25 for it. It's obviously down to $324.99, but everyone like, I'm sure Miles fans are like, I have to have every single like significant story or event, right? But I get where Marcus is coming from. I'm like, yeah, fuck all the bullshit. I just want UF4. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm complete, So, and then I'm so lucky. I had a 9.6, 9.4, and I had a 9.8. I sold it. I think I did pretty good timing. Dak, man, what do you think about this? Do you think it's a weird spec?
I think, for me, I would never purchase this book for more than like $5. If I find it in a bin, I'm pretty sure there are a lot out there. The reason being, this was Ultimate Comics All New Spider-Man. This was heavily printed. It's not a low printed book. I'm pretty sure if you search hard enough, you could find this in bins. The second thing is, there's also another book that has been really hyped up amongst collectors. It's the first time Miles Morales comes into the 616 Marvel universe.
Hold on.
Yeah, you got it.
Continue.
Yeah, it's the book that where Miles Morales comes, Ultimate Invasion. There you go. That's the book.
Is it the Nico Scion?
Is that the variant?
It's the variant 1 in 50, 9.8.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's signed. Yeah.
Great book. I've been picking up that book regular cover for $1. And it's about a $30 to $30 something book. Now, is that book something that Miles Morales completionists go for? Yes, they do. They go for that book as well. So having both books, if you can find them cheap, sure, get them. But I'm with Marcus. Like, if you want to invest in a book, invest in UF4.
Yep.
Don't invest in. I mean, apart from your variant, that's a nice looking variant. I really like it.
The only reason I had this book is because my favorite Filipino artist did the cover on this, Miko Suyan.
Oh, Suyan. Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome.
I got some flack for it because, I was like, man, for me, this is like he enters the 616, and they're like, nah, the Miles, and each his own. It's like it's all about collecting.
Yeah,
I didn't even know at the time that it was.
Man.
Yeah, and at the time I was like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't know this was like Miles' first iteration of the 616. I just liked the cover. I was lucky to get a 9.8 out of it, but yeah, I mean, for the right price, I definitely would sell it.
Right.
But I'm like, I'm good with just keeping it on my wall. It's a wall book for me. So cool. Well, that I kind of want to show. We always do the this or that segment, and I didn't have a lot of stuff, and sometimes it's kind of random, but I thought this was kind of cool to get your guys' opinion.
No, this is actually really good.
Yeah. Cool. And it was also kind of like, well, Marcus, I was doing my taxes today. I know, nerd. And I was looking at some shit that like I sold last year, just like on dips and just like, and you always talk about buying the dip. But I was also like, well, what was going on at that time? Why was that book selling for like $650? Or, oh man, I remember when all that Star Wars stuff was coming out, or like, I remember when the Authority #1 was selling for big money, when James Gunn made his announcements. There's nothing really that I can think of in the forefront that's going to push like comics and stuff. But as we do this show and whatnot, I want to bring that up to all you guys on the panel to get your guys' opinion. And we can still vary amongst like the video games, comic books, strategy guides, all that good stuff. And but yeah, that's the show for tonight. And any closing thoughts from you fellas?
Have you ever been swallowed up? That's what TD Jakes asked his congregation.
I did not know that.
Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed. Let's
just end it there.
Jack's like, I want to go home. Jack's like, please gotta go home.
You know, swallowed. Have you been through a time of swallowing?
I don't even know what to say. Marcus, are you going to be in the studio much longer? Or are you?
I'm in the studio all night. So
when you're in the studio all night, is it like till 4 a.m, like 2 a.m?
Easily,
really,
4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's crazy.
Then wake up about 8, work, take a nap, then come back and try to work some more.
Okay, all right. Dak, any closing thoughts from you, man? Appreciate you coming through on the iteration today. Yeah.
What's your Super Bowl predictions?
I predict that I'm going to be swallowed. Swallowed.
I think, unfortunately, San Francisco is going to win. I think that's what's going to happen.
Nah, that Chiefs. Did you remember that Chiefs flag is buried under the Vegas stadium? Kansas City Chiefs flag. Yeah, there's a Kansas City Chiefs flag buried up under the Las Vegas stadium.
Huh? I didn't know that.
Fun fact. I did not know that.
Fun fact.
Yeah,
but people are saying they don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Sure. I mean, this is going to be the most unwatchable fucking Super Bowl for me. Seahawk fan over here, and I'm not a 49. I used to be a 49er fan before we moved to the NFC, but I just have that, and I don't hate Kansas City. It's just it's the same matchup like pre-pandemic. This is like the pandemic bowl all over again. So I'm not really excited. I'll watch it though. I mean, fuck it. It's the Super Bowl,
Commander Cody said it's getting
gain here.
Yeah, it's getting gain here. It is all happy, Commander Cody. But Commander Cody, have you ever been swallowed up?
Well, that's all the time we got for tonight. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see you maybe next week. We'll have Wade on next time. Again, Dak, thanks for coming through, and Marcus, thanks for taking time out of your busy night, man. I know you work hard, so I appreciate you always coming.
Man, no, I wouldn't miss it. So
I love it. We had a good time tonight. All right, take care, guys.
Take it easy.
Bye.